Hey, everybody. How are you this evening? Welcome back into the LTL podcast. Sunday night, and it is October 8th, 2023. I want to welcome everybody back into the live show. We're going to do part two here on the Hamas Israeli war that is now currently in day two. Let me check the good old YouTube. They've probably already demonetized me for saying that. Oh, I'm not demonetized yet. Wow, crazy. I was actually just checking Twitter, and right now, trending as we speak, hashtag Idaho 4. Amazing. Amazing. It's like, I think people just woke up to this crime, this case. Like the stuff that I'm reading on Twitter, it's like this stuff has been talked about a year ago. Like, where have these people been? Like, where are you? Where have you been? But nothing I really want to get into this evening. It's a very draining case that everybody seems to have their own opinion on it. And I think that's why I've pulled away from it as, there's really not much to discuss. I think that because we're getting closer to the potential date of October 26th, everybody's now jumping back on this again. Like there's going to be some big breaking news that all this brand new information is going to come out. It's not going to. I'm going to tell you, we're in probably a 2 to 3 year holding pattern on this case. I don't see this going to jury trial for another 2 to 3 years. And in a recent motion, Koberger's team is trying to delay proceedings again, and Judge is not having it. So, let's just raise the question and put it out there: if Mr. Koberger is so innocent of these crimes, then why are we continuing to delay this trial? Just get to it. Why are we always constantly stopping, trying to delay and stop this trial? So it's really all I really want to talk about on that. Maybe I'll get into a future stream about it. We did one the other day when some new information came out. I really don't think that it's anything new. I mean, Steve has been saying this stuff all along. Steve said it in the 48 hours interview that they had almost 3 weeks ago about the position of the girls, what he thought. You don't think that these theories haven't been thrown around about the texting? The texting's been out there. People have talked about this. There's really nothing new. All this information's been talked about and recycled over and over and over and over and over and over again. So, I don't know. It's just, it's draining. It's tiring. And, what was the article from like Newsmax or one of those? What was it? I was reading it today. Oh, let's see. Newsweek. I think that's what it was. I was paging through it a little bit today. Have at it. All right. It's not the purpose of the stream. Maybe something that I get into in a future episode, but it's just exhausting case at this point. Okay. Let's get into this. Israel declares war and bombards Gaza as fighting rages for second day after Hamas attack. Reporting from the AP. Let's read a little bit of this article, and then we'll get into some videos. I'll play this one here first. Wouldn't be surprising that if Iran has something to do with this. They already limited me. Good old YouTube. Reporting on history right now. They've already nailed me. Haven't even said anything yet. Thank you, YouTube.
5, 4, 2, 1, מעולה.
Imagine living like this. So crazy. So heartbreaking. Yeah, we played a little bit of it, Todd. I was on it. I already was on it. Played a little bit of it earlier today, yeah. This is someone that's passed away. Look at this. Unreal. All right, let's get down here a little bit to the article. This was just updated at 5:55 p.m., so just a couple of hours ago. Tel Aviv, Israel. The Israeli government formally declared war Sunday and had the green light for the significant military steps to retaliate against Hamas for its surprise attack as the military tried to crush fighters still in the southern towns and intensified its bombardment of the Gaza Strip. The toll passed 1,100 dead and thousands wounded on both sides, more than 24 hours after Hamas launched an unprecedented excursion out of the Gaza. Israeli forces were still battling with militants holed up in several locations. At least 700 people have been reportedly killed in Israel, a staggering toll on a scale of the country has not experienced in decades, and more than 400 have been killed in Gaza. The declaration of war pertained greater fighting ahead, and a major question was whether Israel would launch a ground assault into Gaza, a move that in the past has brought intensified casualties. Meanwhile, Hamas and a smaller Islamic Jihad group claim to have taken captive more than 130 people from inside Israel and brought them into Gaza, saying they would be traded for the release of thousands of Palestinians imprisoned by Israel. The announcement, though unconfirmed, was the first sign of the scope of abductions. The captives are known to include soldiers and civilians, including women and children, and elderly, mostly Israelis, but also some other nationalities. The Israeli military said only that the number of captives is significant. As many as 1,000 Hamas fighters were involved in Saturday morning's assault, according to the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, speaking on ABC this week. The high figure underscored the extent of planning by the militant groups ruling Gaza, which it said it launched in response to mounting Palestinian suffering under Israel occupation and blockade of Gaza. The two gunmen rampaged for hours, gunning down civilians and snatching people in towns along highways and at a techno-musical festival attended by thousands in the desert near Gaza. The rescue service, Zeka, said it removed about 260 bodies from the festival, and that number was expected to rise. It's not clear how many of those bodies were already included in Israel's toll. You can see some of the damage here, the bombings. This was from an airstrike. In response, Israel hit more than 800 targets in Gaza so far, its military said, including airstrikes that leveled much of the town in, Bet Hanun, in its enclave's northwest corner. Israeli Rear Admiral Daniel Hagrar told reporters Hamas is using the town as a staging ground for attacks. There was no immediate word on casualties, and most of the community population of tens of thousands of people likely fled before the bombardment. We continue attack in this way with the force continuously on all gathering places and routes used by Hamas. Civilians on both sides were already paying a high price. The Israel military was evacuating at least 5 towns close to Gaza. A line of Israeli snaked outside the central Israel police station to supply DNA samples and other means that could help identify missing family members. Mayan Zen, a divorced mother of 2, said she learned that her 2 daughters had been abducted, when a relative sent her photos from Telegram group showing them sitting on a mattress in captivity. That's so horrifying. She then found online videos of a chilling scene in her ex-husband's hometown of Naha'oz. I think that's how you say it. Gunmen who broke in it's supposed to be speak to him with his leg bleeding in the living room near two terrified weeping daughters, Daphnia 15 and Ella 8. Another video shows the father being taken across the border into Gaza. Just bring my daughters home and to their family, all the people, Zin said. In Gaza, the tiny enclave of 2.3 million people sealed off by the Israeli-Egyptian blockade for 16 years since the Hamas took over, residents feared an intensified onslaught. Israeli strike flattened some of the residential buildings. Oh boy. Let's see. So it just gives you a little bit. I'm not going to read this complete article. I'm going to get to some videos here. Just gives you kind of an overview of what's going on. We're in day 2 here of the war. And what I want to do is go back on day 1, play some highlights from day 1, just so we can get some information as to what was going on.
Hamas launched a surprise assault on Israel on Saturday, its biggest in years. Gunmen from the Palestinian Islamist movement crossed from Gaza into Israeli towns in an unprecedented infiltration. Hamas also fired a heavy barrage of rockets into Israel. We are at war, said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the enemy will pay an unprecedented price. Israel's military said its forces were operating inside Gaza, but gave no details. Hamas military commander Mohammed Deif said the group had fired 5,000 rockets. This is the day of the Great Revolution to end the last occupation on Earth, he says.
I'm just going to break in here really quick. Just getting some news from JLR that just posted a video from the statement of the IDF. And that's the military forces that help defend Israel. They have called up 100,000 Israeli troops. He says this is unprecedented attack by Hamas and deserves an unprecedented response. Israel's goal is to completely destroy Hamas's military capabilities. Let's
Speaking about Palestinian casualties in Israel, we have mobilized, we have called up approximately 100,000 Israeli troops. They are now organizing and preparing to launch an attack at Hamas in Gaza. And as we speak, we are also striking their military targets inside the Gaza Strip. And so far, we have been able to kill more than 400 terrorists. Now, a little bit about numbers. You know, there's a lot of numbers in the media speaking about Palestinian casualties and Israeli casualties. When we speak about our casualties, first and foremost, it's about our civilians that were killed by Hamas. And then it's about the military. The numbers that you'll hear coming out of Palestinian sources is usually all of the numbers cobbled together in one pile. And they won't distinguish and they won't let you know how many of those that they report dead are actually Hamas terrorists or what they would call fighters. And they will have you believe that all of the people that are killed in Gaza were innocent civilians. That is not the case. Many of those killed so far in Gaza, I'd say most, are terrorists. And we in the IDF, as we will embark on the war to set things straight with Hamas, will be hunting down terrorists. We are not looking to kill civilians, and we will try as much as possible not to kill civilians and not to harm infrastructure in any way. But you have to understand, the circumstances are extremely dire, and the level, the atrocity, and the cruelty of attack against Israel is unprecedented, and it forces Israel to provide an unprecedented response against Hamas. So it's a very sensitive time here in Israel, and I want you, as always, to remember, be very critical of the information that you consume. I don't know what media outlets you listen to and who's in your feed and what you see when you scroll, but if it's critical of Israel, take it with a grain of salt. And over the coming days, there will be sad stories coming out of Gaza, and people will start to blame Israel for everything that's happening. That won't be fair. And it'll be important that you keep in mind how this war started and what I've just told you, that we are committed to international law, but that this time around, we are going to make sure that at the end of the war, Hamas doesn't have any military capabilities to continue fighting against Israel. That's what we want to achieve. If you have friends in Israel, family in Israel, I'm sure that these are very stressful times. It's stressful and sad for everybody here. Today, dozens of Israelis were buried. There were funerals all over Israel. Same thing will be tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But at the end of it, this I can assure you, Hamas will no longer have military capabilities to threaten Israeli civilians, and we will change the security on the border for the better for Israel and for every Palestinian in Gaza as well. So I hope you stay connected, keep following the info that we disseminate, and make sure that you stay strong and support Israel.
Okay, let's go back to day one coverage. Some breakdowns.
This
Here we
video
go.
obtained by Reuters shows Palestinians pulling what appears to be the body of an Israeli soldier from a tank on the Gaza border as Palestinians cheer. Another released by the Hamas armed wing is said to show fighters overrunning an Israeli military camp. Warning sirens sounded across southern and central Israel. This was the aftermath of the deadly attack in Rehovot. Israeli media reported gun battles between bands of Palestinian fighters and security forces in one of the most serious escalations in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in years. The Israeli military said it had launched airstrikes into Gaza, where witnesses reported hearing heavy explosions. A Palestinian bulldozer broke through the border fence, and people streamed out of Gaza to cries of "God is great." In Gaza itself, people rushed to buy.
That was the border defense? What? That's all they had protecting the border? Holy smokes. You just cut through that with wire cutters. Jeez, man.
Through the border fence, and people streamed out of Gaza to cries of "God is great." In Gaza itself, people rushed to buy supplies in anticipation of days of conflict ahead. Some evacuated
Days.
their homes.
It's gonna go for a
headed
long
for
time.
shelters.
This ain't gonna be days, it's gonna be years. It is a white Elantra. Holy shit. Oh my god, it's a white Hyundai Elantra. Oh my god, it's a white Hyundai Elantra. I don't mean to laugh. We're not meaning to laugh at the situation, but that was a good catch, Tsunami. That is a white Hyundai Elantra. We are not laughing at this situation. Trust me. We're laughing just because of another case and how the white Hyundai Elantra has become, the kind of, I don't want to say meme car, but the very, very well-known car. If you're familiar with the Idaho 4 case, holy smokes. That was a good catch, Tsunami. I didn't even get that. Right there. It's a Hyundai Elantra. Holy smokes. Yeah, Barry says, "Hey guys, I'm just driving around here." Oh, geez. All right, we'll keep playing here. Oh boy, that was a good catch. Is that AV? AV's in the house. Look at that. Jeez, man. I haven't seen you in forever. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the house tonight. Look at this. Jeez, man. That's scary or what? Hell's on his helmet. What's that on his helmet? What is that? What is that? Binoculars? What the hell is that? A camera? What is that? See that? Looks like binoculars or something. Doesn't look like a camera. That looks like a light, and these are like binoculars or something. Wow, I've never seen that. That's interesting. Night vision. Oh no. Todd has a white Hyundai Elantra. Oh no. Is that... Imagine living like this every day. God, I could not imagine. Look at this. Look at the drones.
لتكون خير بداية لمعركة سبب الكيان الصهيوني رأيناها وبإمكانه اختراق الجبهات المصفحة أيضا.
Well, Saudi Arabia is calling to halt the escalating violence. They're getting ready next week. Tsunami and I were talking offline. They're getting ready to supposedly sign that treaty with Israel next week. That's probably going to stop that, or trade agreements. Because they were supposed to work out some kind of deal.
اللي تخنعوا 200 واحد بلشوا تكسير. طبعا الرد كان موجود من قبل الشباب بس قدر استطاعتهم بحمايه
Again, this is day one, and we're gonna go to some day two highlights and just show you what's going on.
الاسرائيلي.
I don't want to call them highlights, but that's what it is. Just little news segments.
الدنيا شريف ايش بخوف هاي نشوف الله اكبر الله اكبر الله
5,000. That's what I was saying earlier. 5,000 rockets. We read reports today. It was like 1,500. There was 2,500. Like I said, I think more than 5,000 got shot. That's the only way that you're going to overcome the Iron Dome, to get rockets into Israel. It's crazy. 5,000 rockets. Lighting that guy up. See those are all the missiles right here. Come on, Phil. You know where they get them. Come on, Phil. You're smarter than that. Come on. Look at this. Jeez, man. I gotta get shot. What the hell did he do? He get shot? Oh, yeah.
حرك لسان
SUVs, motorcycles, and paragliders? What? What?
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
That's when they're knocking the wall, the fence down, the border fence.
Allahu Akbar!
All right, let's go to day 2 coverage. Let's see. Day 2. Hang on one second. I had a video pulled right here. No, that's the one I was going to play after. Come on, man. No. Stop. I'm literally showing the wrong. Declares war updates. Day 2. No. I can't find the video. All right, here we go. Day 2. I finally got it. It was the last tab. All right, let's play this.
Children gunned down in their cars, homes, and
today.
at a rave. Dozens more captured and taken into Gaza. Israel is still reeling from yesterday's surprise attack by Hamas, which is designated a terrorist group by the UK, the US, and the European Union. Shock too in Gaza, where 2 days of retaliatory airstrikes have led to hundreds of casualties. The army claims it's back in control of most areas of southern Israel, but it has continued to battle Hamas fighters in 8 towns. Israeli media says more than 700 Israelis were killed in the group's deadliest attack in 50 years of conflict. They include 44 soldiers. And at least 370 Palestinians have been killed in the densely populated Gaza Strip, where Israel's airstrikes have destroyed whole apartment blocks. The fighting has also drawn in Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. The Iran group exchanged fire with Israel on Sunday after launching rockets and shells at 3 Israeli positions in the disputed Sheba Farms area. Hezbollah said the attack was in solidarity with the Palestinian people. And an Egyptian policeman has opened fire on Israeli tourists in the city of Alexandria, killing 2 of them and their Egyptian guide. Let's go live now to our foreign correspondent, Secunda Kamani, who's by the Israel-Gaza border. Secunda.
Well, we're not far from the Gaza Strip, and we've been hearing very regular, loud thuds of Israeli airstrikes landing in Gaza. We've seen footage coming in of the impact of those airstrikes as they hit targets in Gaza too. We've also been seeing at times the Israeli Iron Dome defense system intercepting some of the missiles, the rockets, I should say, fired out of Gaza by Hamas. And what's really unprecedented, though, about the situation that we find ourselves in now is the way that Palestinian gunmen have infiltrated over the past 2 days into Israeli territory, moving through Israeli towns, shooting and abducting civilians. It's been a massive security failure, a massive intelligence failure on the Israeli side. It's also led to the single deadliest incident for Israeli civilians in the country's history. And the assault isn't over yet. In the nearby Israeli town of Sderot, well, residents there have been warned by security forces to stay at home whilst they search for remaining gunmen. Of course, there's also a huge amount of fear for the 2 million or so people living in the Gaza Strip. We're not allowed to travel into the territory, though we do have a colleague filming for us who's based there. He and other residents are not allowed to leave Gaza. It seems almost inevitable that in the coming days there's going to be a major ground offensive targeting Gaza, a warning that our report contains some distressing images. Day 2 of this war, and Israeli forces have still been battling pockets of Hamas gunmen. Reports of fresh infiltrations by militants, terrifying residents in southern Israel.
The thing that people have to realize is this was not an attack on the military. This was an attack on citizens. This was an attack on citizens.
Despite its military strength, Israel seems to be struggling to assert full control over its territory. Heavy airstrikes are pounding the densely populated Gaza Strip, with rockets still being launched from there. Israel's Prime Minister has vowed there will be no respite as the country reels from its deadliest attack in decades. Israelis want revenge. In the small town of Ofakim, residents vent their fury on the abandoned vehicles used by the militants, setting one on fire. This gives you a sense of the level of anger there is in Israel right now. One of the guys who set that car on fire just told us if Prime Minister Netanyahu doesn't wipe Gaza out, he should leave the country. Dozens of people were killed here, and just after we leave, clashes erupt nearby.
There's the paraglider.
The unprecedented, coordinated assault with Hamas fighters flying over the border fence or bulldozing through it began yesterday morning.
Wow.
Gunmen
Never seen
rampaged
anything like
through
that.
Israeli communities. In
I mean, this is
videos, dozens of hostages,
yeah.
including
This is
women and
neighborhood.
children,
This is that poor girl.
taken back into Gaza. Israelis have never been hit like this before.
Allahu Akbar!
Underlining just how little a threat most Israelis saw emanating from Gaza, thousands had been attending an open-air rave not far from the border. Then there was panic as the militants attacked. Roy was there and thought he would never escape alive.
So how many bullets? 3? 2?
Wow.
One in and out, and one still in my stomach.
We hid under a truck and played dead. When the terrorists came, they wanted to make sure we weren't alive, so they shot me and my 2 friends. They both passed out. I hope and pray that they are still alive, but I just don't know.
Outside a hospital in the southern city of Beersheba, desperate parents are looking for their children. 22-year-old son was also at the rave. He called his mother when he heard rockets being fired. She told him to run, but hasn't heard from him since.
Police, army, anyone, just bring me my boy. Nobody's telling us anything. What kind of country is this? I was in the hospitals. I can't find my son anywhere.
In response, Israel has launched a ferocious bombing campaign on Gaza. Entire streets have been reduced to rubble. This is one of the most densely populated places in the world, and everyone here feels under attack.
We, like everyone here, are being oppressed. Under the fire, the bombing, all night long. This building, 80 families lived here. You're talking about a whole neighborhood. A whole neighborhood. 80 homes.
The death toll here has been rising and will continue to do so as this assault intensifies. Outside the Al-Shifa hospital, a crowd gathers around an injured man. Cradled lovingly in his arms, he holds the body of his young child, killed
when an airstrike hit his home. A final kiss from a distraught father. Israel has warned Gazans in certain neighborhoods to leave for other parts of the Strip. But they can't get out of Gaza. On both sides of this conflict, ordinary people are paying a terrible price.
5 families live in this building. 3 rockets hit, without any warning, without any call, without anything. A whole family was killed, a husband, wife, and their children. The rest are injured in the hospital.
Anger at Israel's bloody and oppressive occupation and blockade of Gaza helped fuel the awful violence inflicted by Palestinian militants. Anger at their brutality will fuel the deadly response Israel is now inflicting on Gaza.
Sikandar Kamani there, and some of the footage in his report was filmed by our colleague Youssef Hamash, who's inside Gaza. Well, I'm now joined by Fleur Hassan Nahum, who's the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. When you look at the number of deaths, the number of people held hostage still, do you believe that the intelligence and security services have this situation under control or not?
Well, they certainly didn't yesterday morning when there was an attack in 7, 8 different points on a border which is supposed to be properly secured. It's a border of a country going into another country, because Israel, as your reporter misinformed the public, has not been in Gaza since 2005. You can talk about a blockade, but you can't talk about an occupation. Israel left Gaza in 2005. They've had free and fair elections at least once. Hamas was elected by the people over Fatah, and they've been ruling the Gaza Strip for the last 10, 11 years. Yeah, and so we actually have a proper border.
Yeah, but it's been blockaded. Gaza. It's been blockaded for 16 years, and there is now untold suffering in Gaza, as there is among the Israelis dead. You know, this is something that this bloodshed is now. It's just appalling to watch, isn't it? Do you agree with that?
Gaza has 2 borders, one with us and one with Egypt. In fact, in the last few months, and this is why this was surprising to us in Israel, we've been increasing the amount, at Hamas's request, we've been increasing the amount of work permits for Gazans to come into Israel to do an honest day's work, because, you know, Hamas take the international aid that they get and they build weaponries and tunnels instead of actually developing an economy or anything good for their people, including hospitals and schools.
But you know there are civilians in there who are unable to leave, and they're being urged to leave now. Well, where are they supposed to go? Where are they supposed to go? The 2 million people in Gaza.
And where are the people in the south of Israel supposed to go? Yeah. The militants that came into Gaza yesterday morning came in with one goal, and that was to kill innocents. When Israel goes in to destroy terrorist infrastructure, innocents, unfortunately, are the casualties of war. And let me tell you, the people in the building that you reported about all got an SMS message saying, please leave the building. We're about to bomb it because there is terrorist infrastructure in that building. What we have here is a double war crime. The Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, which is ISIS, which is an arm of the Iranian government, come in to kill innocent Israelis.
Funny how that all popped up in the last 4 years again, huh? Not one war previous to this in 4 years. And now we have 2 major fucking wars across. I mean, a third of the fucking globe is in war right now. I have a map that I'm going to show you that's going to completely blow you away. Fantastic map. And it will show you how much stress all of these wars put on the United States. We'll get to that map right after this. These highlights.
We go in and we warn their innocence.
Okay, let me talk about those innocent. Let me talk about the innocent Israelis that you've just mentioned. Some of whom are now held hostage.
Yes.
Given the security failings that you've alluded to yourself, should the security minister resign? Do you think?
Well, I'm not in the cabinet and I can't make those decisions.
No, but I'm just asking for your opinion.
I'm a local politician. Look, I think that at the moment we have to get the situation out of control, in control. We have to restore calm. We have to get the people that have been taken hostage back. And then,
listen, how do you do that?
We have to have an investigation on what happened here.
Right. And how do you get the hostages back safely? Because some of them have been taken to Gaza now. Is a ground offensive there the only option, or is that fraught with difficulty? And might you be better negotiating with Hamas, for example?
Well, I don't think Hamas is an honest organization to negotiate with, especially when everybody knows that they're the long arm of the Iranians. And if you ask me why this is happening, it's because Israel was making incredible advance towards peace with Saudi Arabia. There's a bigger picture here. And everybody else, all these innocent people on both sides, are being used as pawns.
So is a ground offensive into Gaza, in your view, the only realistic option to have any prospect of bringing some of those hostages back?
Well, I don't see how an air campaign can bring hostages, which is now probably 100, more than 100. Some people.
I just want to pull this up. So Johnny says, so the fact of the matter is Hamas wants innocent Palestinians to get killed. It helps their recruiting. Dude, it's just like what the Nazis did. They would go into towns, essentially, and they would be like, you know what? If you don't join us and help fight against and flush everybody out, we're just going to get you too. You know, it's essentially what they did. And that's essentially what they're doing here in this situation.
We'll say hundreds of hostages back. It's very, very sad. The situation is sad. I'm close to this lady who can't find her son already for 36 hours. He was ironically at a peace festival nearby at the rave. And at the moment, we're in a situation where there are so many mothers and fathers who can't find their children. It is absolutely tragic what's going on in Israel right now, inhumane what's going on.
Fleur Hassan Nahum, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, here with me now is the Palestinian ambassador to the UK, Hussam Zomlot, who's a senior member of Fatah, the party which controls the Palestinian Authority and is a political rival of Hamas. Ambassador, you heard there about the people missing, the hostages taken, the mothers, the elderly women, children taken hostage. Will you condemn this atrocity by Hamas?
Kathy, I have had this question as a first question in every interview I did, and I refuse to answer that question.
Oh, this has been planned. You don't think Iran has their hands in this? Come on. Of course they do.
Because it is the reason why we as an international community have failed to depict the situation as it is. The business of always being obsessed with blaming the victim, the occupied, the colonized, the besieged, when in fact I didn't see you asking her to condemn. I didn't see you.
But
I did not hear your first question to condemn the killing of an entire family that your reporter.
No, I tackled her on the people who are losing their lives in Gaza, and I'm asking you about the people who have lost their lives, the Israelis who have lost their lives.
It's tragic. It's tragic.
And you condemn that atrocity.
And this has to stop. And this approach by the international Western media has to stop also. There is no way we can draw symmetry.
Yeah, we played
the one side that is
responsible. Played it in my earlier stream.
Is the occupying power. You cannot draw symmetry between militant groups and what you call here in the West the only democracy in the Middle East.
But this was an unprovoked attack. There were people at a peace festival, at a music festival. Could be hundreds dead there, young people. They had no quarrel in this. They had no skin in this game. Why did they have to die?
Kathy, my task here is to represent my people.
Essentially what this is Iran wants to weaken America as much as they can. They know that we're basically fucked right now in the war with supporting the Russian war or the Ukraine war, whatever you want to call it. It's the same damn thing. So they know that we're depleting all our resources in that. So this has probably been planned, 6 months to a year. They've been thinking this. What is another way that we can deplete the United States, bring them to their knees, weaken them? They have a weak president. Now they're going to get involved with 2 wars, and what's going to happen is what feeds war? Money, resources and money, military resources and money. So you weaken that country. When you weaken that country and you're expelling all this money, what happens here in the United States? Inflation. I'm going to tell you right now, Mark my words, in less than 30 days, gas prices will probably go up $1. Your food is going to go through the roof. Your interest rates are going to go through the roof. The market's going to tank. I don't know if the market's open tomorrow because it's a holiday, but the market will tank on Tuesday. I'm telling you, it's going to cripple us over here. And I'm going to show you a map right after this video to show you the economic strain that this is going to put on the United States. Not that we're in one anyway.
This isn't about the last 48 hours of what the Israelis have seen. My people have been seeing the same over a period of 75 years. This is about the Palestinian people, more than 13 million of us, that have been denied our very basic rights for almost a century.
But I'm asking you, as a human being, would you urge Hamas to release those hostages? As a human being?
As a human being, I urge that people's legitimate rights are respected.
And that includes the hostages, because after all, taking hostages is illegal in international law.
I wish safety to everybody. But do you know, Kathy, that Israel has taken 2 million?
The thing I say about Trump is, like, Trump, the way I look at it is, look at the 4 years you went through, economic boom, okay? Probably made the best money of your life, or just the best money in a long time that you've ever made. We were free of wars for 4 years. We were totally energy independent from all these countries. You know, our policies were great. We were making the attempt to, he was making the attempt to secure the southern border. What happened there now? I mean, we just watched the other day on JLR stream, 8,000 people on average per day pass the Eagle Pass between the border of Texas and Mexico. We watched it live. If we would have continued with that project, it would have slowed a lot of it down. You can't stop it, but it would have slowed a lot of it down. And the minute that Biden got in office, he wrote like 120 executive orders, and look what happened. It opened us up to this. And this is now the result of it. Just took 4 years. I'm going to tell you, this goes on into the election, Biden has no chance. Absolutely zero chance. Absolutely zero chance. Do I know who the answer is? Have no idea. Have no idea. But we need a strong president now, because we are effed. Big time effed. And if anything, if you're a Trump supporter and you support Trump, it's only going to push the momentum now into his direction. I truly, truly believe that. I truly believe that. I mean, do you think the Democrats look really strong right now? Whoever they throw out there? Hell no. I'm going to tell you, this is going to shift. We're probably most likely in 2024 going to have a Republican president. And you'll probably see the Senate and the House go back full Republican again. People are tired. They're over it. But people have no one to blame but themselves. You voted for this. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. Do I think Trump's the answer? I don't know. But we need someone. We need someone to not put up with this crap anymore. All right, we'll keep playing through here, and then I want to get to that map.
People in Gaza hostages for the last 16 years.
And you heard me asking the deputy mayor that very question.
And I haven't heard any in the Western media or the international politicians really the outcry about that. So it's practically, ironically, it's hostages taking hostages.
Well, I did tackle the lady in Jerusalem over that very point. But look, the attack by Hamas has now prompted this mighty vengeance, as Israel is calling it. The people of Gaza are the ones who are going to suffer. Your people are going to suffer. So how do you bring this bloodshed to an end? How do you play your part in that?
By giving my family in Gaza, because they are in Gaza, hope, horizon.
Where is the
prospect? Yeah, that's the question the Israelis need to ask themselves.
But I'm asking you that question.
No, that's not for me. Our people have been struggling.
Huge favor. We got almost close to 100 people in here. 98 people watching this evening. Do me a favor. Just go up there and smash that like button. Our goal is to get to 100 likes this evening. I really would appreciate it. All right, let's keep. Yes, we got 100 people in here now. Smash that like button. Let's get 100 likes. We got about another 3 minutes, and then we get to that economic map. It's really, really good. I want to show that to you all.
For 100 years, our people look. You know what is so tragic as well is the supremacist thinking in Israel that they could go and wreak havoc everywhere. They could attack Palestinians, kill them, round them without charge or trial. They could steal our land. They could desecrate our holy places. They could besiege people for years. And then they ask why this is happening.
But there's the same. There's the same
epitome
attitude
of racism.
But there's the same attitude by Hamas, right? 700 Israelis have lost their lives.
This is the epitome of racism. If we really want to nail it down, this is a moment that serves as an alarm, a wake-up call for all of us. There is no way around the Palestinian people and our issue. There is no way but to end this occupation. There is no other route but to enforce international law and international legitimacy.
Okay, but how does your party, Fatah, bring some pressure on Hamas? Do you talk to Hamas, for example?
My party has been the party that has led the Palestine national movement. My party started the armed resistance long before Hamas. And then we gave up that and we committed to three things: recognizing Israel, committing to negotiations and nonviolence, and committing to international law and resolutions.
My Patriots.
Are you talking to Hamas now? Are you urging restraint?
That was 30 years ago. We did that.
Okay, but not now? You have no leverage.
Israel was expected to do one thing, end its occupation, stop its colonization.
Right.
You know what happened. So you come up.
Ambassador, I'm so sorry, we're out of time. Ambassador Zomlot, thank you very much for joining us. And on tomorrow's program, we'll be
All right, I'm going to cut out of this. I want to show you this map that I found. It's really, really interesting. It's called a global conflict tracker. And if anybody's interested in checking it out, I'll drop the link here in the stream. But it has all kind of like these little tack maps on it. And it shows you, some ongoing wars right now that would be totally affecting the United States. And if you just click on all of these, it brings up, it says impact on the United States, significant, conflict status, unchanging. You go here to Haiti and has these little articles that are attached to it and essentially outlines everything that happened. How did we get to this conflict? Really, really great tracker. So you have Haiti, impact on the US, significant. I want you all to realize the strain that's going on. Conflict status worsens. Venezuela, impact on the US, limited. Conflict status changing. Now you start getting over into the Middle East countries, Africa, impact. This is the civil conflict in Libya. Impact on the US, limited. You have violent extremism in Shahi, impact on the US, limited. It's worsening on a daily basis. Another one here, conflict of Central Africa Republic, limited on the US. Another one here, the Congo, Republic of Congo, limited. And you can go through all of this here. Sudan, power struggle in Sudan. But now as you start getting into the Middle East countries, you'll start seeing a lot of this change as we get close here. Look at this. Boom. Persian Gulf. Confrontation with Iran. Impact on the United States. Critical. Instability in Iraq. Limited. You go here to, this is the Palestine. This is just what started. Impact on the US, significant. You go into Lebanon, still instability. Conflict with Syria, limited. Turkey, limited. War in Ukraine, critical. So there's two huge economic strains on our economy right now. They're going to start. I'm telling you, 24 to 48 hours, we're going to be in this war. Let's see. What's this here? Instability of Afghanistan. Let's see. Pakistan again, an India conflict. Doesn't really economically. This is interesting. Territorial dispute of the South China Sea. Another huge war that could possibly happen. Look at look at the territory that this takes. Impact on the US, critical. I'm going to say this is probably critical. Yep, North Korean crisis, critical. It's crazy. Just follow the TAC maps. They should have a big one in the US. But I thought this was really interesting, really great. And like I said, if you want to click into these little sub articles, and it tells you essentially, you know, the history of how all this started and happened. Lots of good reading, and it just gets you a little bit more up to date on, you know, all these wars that are going around our globe. Really great. I was going to put something like this together, but I found this and I was like, oh wow, I'm going to show everybody this. So if you're interested in it and you want to save it in your you know, your bookmarks, I'll drop that again for you, and you can check that out. But very, very interesting global map. All right, let's play a little bit more here of highlights or updates from today. I want to call them highlights, but updates from today.
Than 700 Israelis are now feared dead after unprecedented attacks by Hamas militants. It represents the biggest loss of life in a single day in Israeli history. Hamas, which is designated as a terrorist organization by many Western governments, including the United Kingdom, is still holding out in parts of southern Israel where they're coming under attack by Israeli forces. And Israeli warplanes are now bombing the Gaza Strip, where more than 400 Palestinians are said to have been killed and more than 2,000 injured. And worry is also deafening over the shocking hostage taking of more than 100 Israelis who are now said to have been taken to Gaza. Our first report tonight is from our defense correspondent, Jonathan Beale, who brings us all the latest.
Awesome. Thanks
and
for
I should
reporting
warn
it.
you that in his
Appreciate you.
report, there are
Have a good night.
images that you may find distressing.
I just
Israeli troops are
you out,
still
so
hunting
see ya.
down armed Palestinians. More than 30 hours after their biggest and bloodiest breakout from Gaza
don't care.
into Israel itself. One of the world's most advanced militaries, taken by surprise by Hamas, a militant group kept behind barriers that were supposed to stop this happening. Their attack as brutal as it was brazen. Hundreds killed. For Israel, that's included scores of unarmed civilians as well as soldiers.
Ooh, he reported the stream because I'm reporting news. Oh, I know you're still watching. Was that the height of your night at 9:30 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday night? Ooh, I reported the stream. Ooh, guess what I did? He's gonna go into school tomorrow. Guess what I did? Guess what I did? Ooh.
Already the largest loss of life in decades. Here, the bodies of an Israeli family shot dead.
Guess
waiting
what,
to be
dude? I'm still
identified
here, brah.
and buried. Hamas has taken dozens of hostages too, like this 85-year-old grandmother, Yafa Adab, whisked away by militants in a golf cart. Families
95 years
too,
old.
among them Yoni's wife and their 5- and 2-year-old daughters. He's left anxiously waiting for news and pleading for their safe return.
I want to ask of Hamas, don't hurt them. Don't hurt little children, don't hurt women. If you want me instead, I'm willing to come.
Israel's Prime Minister, meeting security chiefs this morning, has warned his nation of a long and difficult war ahead. Both sides have already suffered significant losses.
Hamas murdered hundreds of Israelis, men, women, and children, and took dozens hostage into Gaza. This horrific terror act demands a forceful, determined, and sustained response.
Israel's response has been swift and harsh, despite the massive intelligence failure. Its missiles filmed by our BBC team in Gaza.
Look how close they were to that.
Jets have been
Holy
hitting
crap.
what they say are Hamas positions, but many civilians have also been killed in this densely populated Palestinian enclave, blockaded and nowhere else to flee.
Tonight, this is as close as we can get to Gaza itself, about 5 kilometers in that direction. There is a lot of military activity, jets.
I mean, essentially from that map, a third of the world is in war right now. It's crazy.
overhead. Israel has told its citizens living nearby to leave. It's not clear whether that could signal a land incursion by Israel into Gaza itself.
World is in war right
But
now.
inevitably, this will end up being more bloody still.
There's also the risk of escalation. Hezbollah has been firing rockets into Israel from neighboring Lebanon. They say a show of solidarity with Palestinians. This region has long been a tinderbox. And once again, the flames are being fanned. Jonathan Beale, BBC News, Southern Israel.
Wow.
And tonight, Israel's Search and Rescue Committee has confirmed that more than 250 bodies have been recovered from the site of a music festival, which had been taking place close to the border of the Gaza Strip on Saturday. These images on social media show people fleeing from the Nova Festival. It was held near the small settlement of Raim. It's a kibbutz near the border with Gaza. Caroline Hawley reports.
Moments before, at a festival that brought together young people from across Israel, a carefree crowd. They have no idea of the horror about to erupt. Images posted on social media show people running for their lives. Witnesses say that after rockets were fired, Palestinian gunmen began attacking from several directions. Don't kill me, she pleads, as Noah Agamani and her boyfriend Avi Natan are both taken captive. Both are still missing, thought to have been taken into Gaza. Today, Noah's father spoke through his anguish to Israeli media.
I asked to see the video, and then I saw that it was definitely her. She was so scared, so frightened. I always protected her, and at this very moment, I couldn't.
Noah is 25, with a passion for travel. She'd been messaging a friend just before she was kidnapped, and then the live location ended.
It's just us waiting and hoping, really hoping and praying that everything is good, that she will come back home safely, her and her boyfriend and everyone that is in captivity now.
Also taken from the festival, Shani Luke, a tattoo artist from Germany, pictured here on holiday in Mexico. Her family recognized her in video of Palestinian gunmen celebrating her capture on a pickup truck. The images of Shani herself are too upsetting to show.
We were sent a video in which I could clearly see our daughter unconscious with the Palestinians and them driving around the Gaza Strip.
Unfortunately.
I ask you to send us any help or news.
Jake Marlowe's family and friends are also desperate for news. He's a 26-year-old British man who was working at the festival. He's reported to have told his mother he loved her and promised to keep her updated before his phone began ringing out. On the road next to where the festival was taking place, the aftermath.
Jeez.
We don't yet know what's happened to all those who came in these cars to party, to celebrate. Shell-shocked reunions with those who survived. But the brutality of the attack, the terror of it, will now be seared into the psyche of a nation. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
Jesus. Oh, boy. Here's some more videos. Yeah. Cow. Winter blend. Yeah. Bullshit. We know why it's going to change.
תראה, גם ליד הים יש שם, נפל כנראה בשטח פתוח.
Okay. Let's go here. The paraglider. Really? Paragliders. Oh, they got up over that wall. A lot of them. Wow. Training in paragliders. Look at this. Yeah, this has been for a while. All right, let's go over to the Twitter. We'll go to the Twitter. See what's going on in the Twitter. Jeez, man. Yeah, there's that girl. Parliament of Canada now with the flag of Israel. Canada stands with Israel. Again, we may see some. I'm not going to play that. Yeah, I got to be careful here. That's going to get a little crazy. Hang on. That's going to get a little crazy for the YouTubes. This is happening in London. This says footage received from London people that are gathering to show solidarity with Palestine. I'm just going to back out because Twitter's kind of. Someone on Twitter says Congress refused to give Trump $3 billion for a border wall, yet you gave Israel $8 billion overnight. Why will Congress defend the borders of other nations but not our own? Donald Trump Jr. speaking out. Let's bring that up. See what he has to say. Trump Jr. If anyone is still stupid enough to not understand why we have the Second Amendment, have them watch any of the hundreds of videos coming from Israel. Even the dumbest leftists watching women and children being dragged from their homes and cars to be R'd and M'd in cold blood in the streets may finally get it. Someone says, nah, they won't get it. Let's go back. Oh, wow. Look at this. Jeez, man. Jeez.
سماء مدينة بيت حمون.
I'm just going to go out just to monitor this a little bit because Twitter's a little crazy. If everybody can just do me a favor, we're about 106 people in here right now. If you could smash the old likey button, I would appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on Twitter that I can't show. Oh, let's see. A lot of videos that we've already seen. Jeez, man. Some protests going on in the streets. I'm going to show you that. Hang on one second. I'll pull that up in Twitter. So you have a protest strange. One day after changing speaker due to funding more wars, a war breaks out in Israel, and there is no updates on the Biden corruption. Funny how that works. And you can see the flag of Israel and the United States being burned. This is developing. Palestine and Israel supporters are fighting back in Washington State. Washington State is crazy. You know, a lot of people don't understand too is that this riles things up here at home, you know, what we call our home in the United States. So this is going to rile up a lot of shit right now here. Oh boy, we are in for a wild ending of the year, I can tell you that. Holy smokes. People are going to end up losing it. All right, let's see what else we can find here. Oh yeah, take care of your baby, Bella. That's the most important thing. Family first. Family always first. Jeez, man. Look at this. The Iron Man. It's not real. This is real.
Yo! Yo, man. Yo!
Look at that. Jeez. Yeah, it's $1 million right there.
Yo! Man.
More rock. Wow. It says late night packages sent to Israel stop them to save Israel. A lot of people in Idaho 4 still trending on Twitter. This says shoutouts to Hamas terrorists in my comment section from the dark tunnels of Gaza. You don't have much time left. We appreciate you spending whatever time you have left. Remind you of the crime in my post you are. This is what they want. Left versus right, black versus white, Ukraine versus Russia, Hamas versus Israel. Divide and conquer is what they want. The only beneficiary of all these wars are the elites, big banks, and military industrial that is a great post. I have to agree. All right, let's see if we can get some other video here. I want to thank everybody for joining the LTL podcast this evening. Obviously, we're covering a very sensitive subject this evening. And, You know, it's but it is a reality of what's going on in our world right now. It's sad. It's very sad. Let's see if we have anything live. I know there was a bunch of protests that were planned tonight. I'm not sure if anybody's protesting anything. I heard there was protests aligning in New York City, but I haven't seen or heard anything yet. Nothing on Twitter. Let's see. Let's go up to this feed. I don't think this is live, but we can get an idea of what's going on. It's live. Live. Check this out. This is day 3. Israeli army on the move. We'll play some of that. This is live. Let's see what else we got. Oh boy. Nothing from Biden today. Let's go back to the other live feed real quick. Let's go back up. Oh, absolutely. We cover everything here on LTL. I'm not afraid to get into it. Believe me. For everything. Thank you. Appreciate you. Oh no, we'll show everything. We'll show everything. All right, I'll get into it. I mean, I'm self-committed. I'm not a tremendous geopolitician. I don't really know a lot about the geopolitics, but if it's news, I have a basic idea of what's going on. But if it's news, we'll show it. I mean, this is a reality of our world. It's a reality of a major impact that's going to impact us here at the United States. We possibly could be in another war in a few days. It's just crazy. It's not what we need. The world is very unstable right now. It's a very scary place. It's very, very scary. And I just urge everybody, take your precautions. Save your money. That's the most important thing. Save your money. Maybe that extra night out, eating, or, you might want to reconsider. Look at this. They're trying to cause little roadblocks. Those extra pair of shoes or those jeans that you might buy, I'd say hold off. Hold on to your savings. Let's go over this other feed here. Oh, just saw another feed. This one here. Look at this.
Never have so few done so much for so many. Biden doesn't talk that way.
Might
Biden
be
doesn't
live
talk
right
that
now.
way. What a disgrace. What's happened to our country with inflation. All these things wouldn't have happened if the election weren't rigged. If the election weren't rigged, you wouldn't have Ukraine. You wouldn't have had any of it. You wouldn't have any of it. It's so sad. It's so sad what they've done. And there's plenty of evidence. It's all there. You know it. Not here. We don't
Trump
worry
live.
about Iowa, but you take a look at those swing states. What they did in those swing states is a disaster. It's a disgrace. Under Crooked Joe, we now have a exploding trade deficit in agriculture. Did you know that? Meaning we are now importing more farm product than we're exporting. First time it's ever happened. It's not even believable, right? Are you a farmer? No, but you do. Yeah, that's a great. I'm not a farmer, but I don't need to be to understand what you just said. That is very good. Wow. Would you like to run for politics someday, huh? I think I have to give you an endorsement. Within hours of my inauguration, I will cancel every Biden policy that is abusing our farmers. And as your president, I ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made by our country, and replaced it with a brand new USMCA. That's Mexico, Canada, the best trade deal they say ever made in our country. In fact, so good, it's so good. They want to cancel it. They're trying to get a deal with the United States to cancel it. You got ripped off by decades with NAFTA. Now we make a deal that is a one-sided deal, I will tell you that. Because we negotiated, I negotiated it. And it's great. You know, you've been ripped off by, I'll tell you, Canada was very tough to deal with, you know. Canada was tougher to deal with than China. Nobody would believe that, right? What they did with your milk product and all of your different products, it was like a one-sided deal for years. And now we have a deal that's great. And I said to him, listen, if you don't make this deal, then I'm not going to let you sell cars into the United States. Oh, well, we would love to make the deal if you'd like to. They were tough. They were nasty. So I say, don't do it. In total, I successfully negotiated and renegotiated more than 50 agreements, some of the worst deals I've ever seen. I used to sit back as they gave me a briefing on some of these bad deals with South Korea, with Japan, with a lot of different countries. I used to sit back, Brazil. I'd say, who the hell made these deals? I mean, it's almost like like they weren't even believable. Some of them, I go back to the heads of the country. I say, you know, your trade deal with us is very unfair. The guy, well, I've been waiting for you to come back and tell us that. They did. Nobody ever went to him. I also fought for Iowa ethanol like no president in history and issued a rule declaring that E15, you remember when I did this? That E15 would be made available all year round. Everyone said, oh, you can't do that. Only 8 months. No, I gave it all year round. And even the equipment, you know, the equipment, which they wanted to use the older equipment because it was tens of millions of dollars to change it. I said, what's the difference He said the older equipment is.
All right, I'm going to go here to the West Bank. There's a live camera, live feed right now. Getting like roadblock. So I put that poll up because I just think it's interesting. So right now, I asked a question: who'd you vote for? Trump at 85% and Biden at 15%. I think it's amazing that people would still vote for Biden. And I'm not even saying that, to vote for Trump either, but I just find it very interesting that people, even knowing what's going on, would still vote for Biden right now. Maybe to be fair to the poll, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, new poll at the top. I'm just curious to see. All right, let's pull this up. Trump earlier.
The future will be made in America. America first, every single time. A vote for Biden means the future will be made in China. A vote for President Trump means the future will be made in America, and it will be made right here in Iowa. America first, every single time.
Idaho 4 still trending. Israel still trending. Let's see what we got. So Turkish president warns America against getting involved with Israel-Palestine war. He says they will defend the Palestinians at any price.
Devleti ve halkına başsağlığı diliyorum. Filistin ve yerleşimci şiddetinden derin endişe duyuyor. Bu vesileyle hayatını kaybeden Filistinli kardeşlerimize bir kez daha Allah'tan rahmet, Filistin devleti
So
ve
they're going to
halkına
defend Palestine,
başsağlığı
India.
diliyorum. Filistin ve
Did I read
yerleşimci
that right? Turkish president.
şiddetinden
I'm sorry, Turkish president. Turkey is going to stand with Palestine. We saw that video. I'm not going to play that video. I'm not going to play that video. This was earlier. Some of the people at the poll would still vote for Biden, knowing what has happened on the world stage in the last 4 years and just how it's going to end for him. I mean, we're in another war. I just, that's crazy that people would still vote for him. Wow. I'm not even saying I'm not even saying Donald Trump being the equation. I'm just asking, with the current world situation, would you vote for Biden in 2024? 7% of the people that took that poll would still vote for Biden. I'm sorry, that's insane. It's just my opinion. Completely insane. Let's see. Nothing really new. I mean, it's just no, let's see. Any updates here last hour? All right, 48 minutes ago from Sky News Australia.
Joining me now live for more on this is the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. Prime Minister, appreciate your time this morning. The US has offered military assistance without Israel even asking for it. Are we going to give the same support?
Well, we have not been asked for military assistance. The Israeli Defence Force, of course, is very formidable. What we have done is to give political support. We are engaging between our foreign ministers, between Australia and Israel, discussed issues overnight. I spoke to the Israeli ambassador to Australia, who's there in Israel, yesterday as well. And I say to any of your listeners who might be concerned about Australian citizens who are present in the region, they can ring 1300 555 135 in order to get information or to provide information indeed about people who might be in the region if they have concerns. This is a very traumatic time for not just for Israel, but for the world. We saw more than 1,000 Hamas fighters go into southern Israel and have indiscriminate killing, including of civilians. We've seen more than 600 deaths there. We've seen hundreds of deaths as well in the Gaza Strip. And this is a very dangerous period in a very volatile part of the world.
The US president has squarely blamed Iran. Even the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran gave the go-ahead last Monday. Do you agree with the US? Is it your view that Iran is to blame here?
Well, certainly those examinations will take place over coming days. But this is an aggression initiated by Hamas that was not anticipated. There was no foreshadowing of this. We saw quite unprecedented actions. The most dangerous day in that part of the world for 50 years, and quite an extraordinary attack targeting civilians in an indiscriminate way, and the capturing of hostages, of innocent people, young people.
All right. Let's see. News Nation reporting. Hang on one second. Let's play this. Shaken travelers arrived from the U.S. from Israel. Let's play this.
We've seen overnight now in Israel that the Gazan militants have been firing at the Tel Aviv International Airport. United American and Delta have all suspended flights to Israel through at least tomorrow. Nancy Liu is at LAX. With both, there's so many people trying to get out of Israel, and then there's so many Israelis trying to get back home for their reserve duty.
Yes, absolutely. That is the situation. And the people arriving at LAX today, we've heard a lot of concern. There's a lot of anger and fear. But as you mentioned, flights are suspended to Israel by United, American, and Delta. And over the last day, a stream of arrivals at major U.S. airports of people fleeing the new war.
It's hard. We had to go because of our kids, but like my heart is there. All my family, everybody's there. My cousin's husband just passed away trying to save other people.
It's been an emotional exodus out of Israel, and many are arriving in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, American cities with the largest Jewish populations. And at synagogues across the U.S., stepped up security, including here in Southern California.
Certainly the synagogues and are places that we're paying attention to. But on the street, you'll even see that we've got our private security. We have more of that out. Our police officers, more of them are out.
The NYPD quick to beef up patrols around all New York synagogues as supporters on both sides of the war take to the streets.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Let's see what else we got. "46 minutes ago."
Tonight, with the fighting raging in Gaza and Congress paralyzed, unable to act without a House Speaker, there are mounting questions about future U.S. aid to Israel.
Any sort of additional appropriations would require a functional House of Representatives, and so we'd like to see that situation resolved as soon as possible.
The U.S. already provides $3.8 billion a year in military assistance to Israel, one of its closest allies. President Biden speaking again today with Prime Minister Netanyahu, as the UN Security Council held an emergency meeting this afternoon.
This atrocity is Israel's 9/11. From now, nothing will be as it was.
It's the latest foreign policy challenge for the president. Amid fatigue over the war in Ukraine and escalating tensions between China and Taiwan, he's now facing growing backlash from his political rivals.
The Israeli attack was made because we are perceived as being weak and ineffective.
Iran funds Hamas. The Biden administration has made that a lot easier by being weak on sanctions.
Republicans are also suggesting, without evidence, that $6 billion in Iranian oil revenues that the U.S. unfroze last month in exchange for 5 American prisoners helped Hamas fund the attack, a claim the administration is strongly denying.
Not a single cent has been spent from that account. When any money is spent from that account.
Dude, they're lying right to your face, man.
It can only be used for medical supplies, for food, for medicine, and those who are saying otherwise are either misinformed or misinforming.
Give me a
Secretary of
fucking
State
break.
Antony Blinken says he's not yet seen evidence that Iran directed this particular attack, but that Iran and Hamas have had a long relationship. U.S. officials are also looking into whether recent efforts to broker an agreement to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia may have driven the Palestinian militants to attack.
Certainly that could have been part of the motivation.
Gabe, it was such a surprise attack. Has the Biden administration acknowledged that it was a huge intelligence failure?
They're not using that word, Kate. The White
They ain't
House
gonna
says
fucking
its
say
immediate
anything.
focus is getting Israel the help it needs. And the Deputy National Security Advisor says now is not the time to look backwards. Kate.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
All right, let's see. 25 minutes ago in New York. Let's play this. Okay.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Out of Palestine! Out of Palestine! Out of Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'll be so high. I'll be so high. I'll be so high.
See what else we got. We've seen these. A lot of repeat news. Not much going on right now. Not much going on. So, I don't know. Maybe this concludes our broadcast day. Not much going on. I wish I could play Officer Tatum's video, but I can't. They get pulled. Let's see. Let's see. Anything else I can play here? Let's check the Twitter one more time before we head off air. Let's see. Let's check the Twitter. Let's check the Twitter. Idaho 4 still trending. Unreal. Let's see. Let's check the Twitter. So Turkey's going to stand with the Palestinians. Okay, some more video feed here. I'm going to play this. It's 2 minutes ago. Twenty-three people dead. Okay. Wow, look at this. Wow. Wow, very intense. Wow. Okay. 45 minutes ago. We're not going to play that video. We're not going to play that. What's this? 13 minutes ago. Music. The Trump train. Do you think Biden committed treason when he gave Iran and Hamas $6 million of wage war against Israel, the strongest ally in the Middle East? Yes or no? So just a lot of repeat video right now. So, obviously, Qatar is trending on Twitter. What's going on in Qatar? Let's take a look real quick. Qatar just started trending on Twitter. This is crazy. Check this out. Says, imagine bin Laden celebrating 9/11 in a lavish office in the capital of the U.S. ally. Sounds crazy. Here's Hamas leader celebrating with terror attacks with Donna, Qatar. Please retweet and tag your Congress with the sentence. The U.S. must demand their arrest. Let's go back and watch this. Celebrating.
طلع جيب الاسرائيلي ماخذينه سجدة الشكر ان شاء الله على هذا النصر.
This is in Qatar today.
نصرك وعزك يا رب لشعبنا وامتنا. الله اكبر.
Oh God, the Wall Street Journal.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله.
All right. Well, the world is fucked. The world is fucked. We are fucked. This is not gonna iron itself out overnight, believe me. But I wanted to bring some awareness to this. Obviously, this is an ongoing thing, and I'm not gonna do this nightly, but I wanted to bring some awareness to it today because it is very, very important. And it is something that's going on. It's a reality of our world right now. And it's something that I just urge everybody to urgently keep your eyes on this because it's important. It's very, very important. So hopefully you got some value out of this stream tonight. Again, you know, I'm not a expert in geopolitics, but I wanted to bring some awareness as to what's going on and show you some video. And YouTube probably hates me right now, but you know, we're using this for documentation purposes, and we're covering history. This is stuff that's going on around the world, and you know, they'll probably nail me on advertisement about it, but I really don't give a shit because it needs to be said and things need to be put out there. So we'll be back not tomorrow night, back on Tuesday, where we'll get into the boy in the box trial down in Florida, and we'll start covering that. Probably gonna have some more Karen Reed material over the next week or so, and still urgently working on getting Turtle Boy over here. So we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you all for being here this evening. All the new subscribers that have come in over the last couple days. We're at about 10,862 as I look at my number right now. We're getting close to that 10,900. Maybe we can get there over the next couple days and get to 11,000. That would be perfect. But I hope everybody is well. Have an amazing day tomorrow. I know tomorrow here in the U.S. is Columbus Day or Indigenous People Day, whatever day you want to call it. But we are here, and LTL will be here. And I appreciate you all being part of this amazing platform. Okay, I'm going to hit the outro. Everybody be well, be safe. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. If you need to get in touch with me, you know how to do that. My Twitter, my email, all that fun stuff. All right, I'm going to hit the outro. Have a good night. Peace.
Thank you.